pro forma. We knew going in what the verdict was going to be. That's why this is going to the appeals court. And we feel, look, I said from the beginning, this is going to the Supreme Court. I said from the beginning, I am willing to settle this issue. I'm willing to do that. But I also know that the likelihood of me going to prison is relatively small because we are right on this issue. And you know how I know that? The Department of Justice told us in memos that span more than 50 years. So you put yourself in my shoes. I go into the White House in 2017.
Oh my God.
For 3 years, I helped the president create hundreds of thousands of manufacturing jobs during the pandemic. Every one of you here used masks, gloves, thermometers. Many of you got vaccinated. Many of you used things like remdesivir or monoclonal antibodies. I helped do that. I did. I was one of the guys in the White House. I was one of the guys in the White House early on, February 2020, writing a memo saying, this is serious. We've got to get off the dime. And what do I get for that?
Prison.
I get a House of Representatives controlled by Pelosi trying to put me in prison. Why? Because I'm a Trump guy. And I get a Biden White House and a Biden Department of Justice with Merrick Garland running it, apart. Is anybody listening? Anybody want to tell me that I would be here if Republicans had held the House or President Trump was in the office? No. So, a little bit of righteous indignation,
Trump lost,
I think.
It's called a coup.
But I say that righteousness is well placed here. Now, there's some other issues here. I have to lay this out for you. I was not tried for contempt of Congress.
You're in a cult.
That's not what the trial was about. If any of you sat in the trial, you saw the opening argument. You saw the opening argument of John Crabb, the attorney for the prosecution. He didn't argue. He didn't argue the case on contempt. He said that I was responsible for the J6 insurrection, which is totally without fact.
He admitted it.
Without fact. And he did it in his clothes. The judge told him on it, but it still stood. I am not here convicted because of contempt. I'm here because of association with J6. That's just wrong.
That will come along
That's
later.
just wrong.
You will be
charged.
indicted and convicted.
And the issue here, stay back again. It's not about J6. It's about constitutional separation of powers between the legislative and the executive branch. The Department of Justice itself says you can't do what the legislative branch has done to me. Yet they were the ones prosecuting. That's just wrong. I'll take a few questions here if you want. President Trump has been a rock in terms of we talk when we need to talk. He will win the president's race in 2024 in November. You know why? Because the people are tired of Joe Biden weaponizing courts like this and the Department of Justice. They are tired of an economy that's going into the friggin' tank. That's the other thing I did in the White House. I was an economist in the White House. What they're doing now in the Biden economy is ridiculous. And all of you are going to suffer from that. Right. All of you. So, I love President Trump. He's been very supportive of me. And yes, anything else?
Do you not regret going before the Jameson and at least completing the bill?
I do not. See, I filed this bill, interestingly enough, 3 days before I got arrested. And that's a whole nother story. It's like they could have called my attorney. They chose not to do so. I don't know if you noticed, I live literally across the street from the FBI. I called the FBI agent who would have guns, 5 armed FBI agents who would put me in leg irons. I called him 2 days before, twice, for more than 20 minutes. I said, hey, you need me, I'm here. No problem.
You were getting on a phone.
And they chose to do the show arrest. Hey, how many times have you seen that BS? They did it at Mar-a-Lago. What is that? Nighttime raid with guns. They had automatic weapons here. So no, I am here because it was my duty to the Constitution of this country, my commander-in-chief, to do exactly what I did, and when I did it, it was
Steal the
Department of
election, that's what
Justice
you did.
policy.
You conspired
It was
with them.
Department of Justice policy that I was in the right. Everybody here should wonder what the hell happened. Just read the memos from the Department of Justice, and then watch what they did. What else you need? Anybody? Yes, sir. Now, you may have noticed that he's fighting 4 different indictments in 3 different jurisdictions, thousands of miles away. Okay? We chose not to go there. Okay? But look, I mean, that gets back to the evidentiary hearing on his invocation of executive privilege.
You've been going on for hours.
Put it in front of my attorney's face. That's drawing the line. That guy could crush you. But don't put